Hey there, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. As always, the caveat, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal. Yeah. Yeah. Look what I got here. Oh. Yep. This is a movie I used to like. So much so when I bought it on a digital copy so I can watch it on my iPod. Yeah, huh? It's Star Trek 2009. I'll shut this off now. Yeah, huh? Well, yes, I used to like this movie when it first came out. I liked it a lot. So much so I watched it a bunch of times. Um, and when Star Trek Into Darkness came out a few years later, I saw it three times in a row at the movie theaters, all in 3D. One of my best friends had gotten corrective eye surgery, so I was honored to take him to his first 3D movie. That was perhaps, in hindsight, my best new Star Trek moment. And then in 2016 came the third of these movies, Star Trek Beyond. I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, when this movie first came out, it was in 2009. We thought we had a new lease on life with Star Trek. Little did we know we were signing his death warrant, not a lease on life. It's been trudging along ever since, and it's gotten worse and worse. In 2009 Star Trek, it's all flash, and it's all lens flares, and it's all this updated cosplay. It appeared to be really good casting, and I'll tell you this too. One of my favorite things about the bad bad robot Star Trek years was literally following Leonard Nimoy on Twitter, which was a joy to do anyway. But his authentic and genuine relationship with Zachary Quinto, the actor who portrayed the new Spock, that was so really awesome to watch. They would, Mr. Nimoy genuinely adored Mr. Quinto. And one of my favorite tweets was, "I'm in New York, Mr. Quinto. Lunch?" Stuff like that. It was really nice. The new Enterprise, I at the time I thought looked great. And as Scotty said in that first movie, that was a little sexy too. I can't wait to get my hands on her ample nacelles, So then you had Kirk hooking up with an Orion girl, and then in Star Trek Into Darkness, you had Kirk waking up between feline twins. I mean, and then you had Benedict Cumberbatch being cast as Khan Noonien Singh. In my humble opinion, that role should have went to John Leguizamo, who I think would have had the spirit and even the look of Ricardo Montalban, who played the original Khan in the original series and in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Then we come to 2016, where everything changed in social media, and when it comes to agenda storytelling. It was the perfect storm. It's as if someone did this on purpose. I am not going to say that much. I'm not that much of a conspiracy theorist, but in 2016, a few things happened. It was the presidential election where the 45th president of America was Donald J. Trump. We also had the Me Too movement that was also coinciding with outing Harvey Weinstein as one of the biggest casting couch creeps in Hollywood. And remember, he's just one of potentially many. He's the only one that got caught and sent up the river. Remember, he's just one of many, and he's the only one. They're still out there, and Hollywood's, protective of their own. But what happened in Star Trek Beyond, it was a terrible movie. It was the first time I've only seen a movie, the new Star Trek movies, once, and I was all set with it. It had a couple of problems with it. It had a lot of problems with it. Misusing Idris Elba behind that makeup and that awful role. You had Jayla, which was this kind of Star Wars Rey ripoff. You had this young woman who's stranded on a planet who was a scavenger. Like, we didn't just see that in Star Wars. And also, they had this Mars Attack. If you remember Mars Attacks, the Tim Burton movie, where the music was what killed the Martians. Well, there's a Beastie Boys song in all three of these new Star Trek movies. But they reused Sabotage, which was used in the first Star Trek 2009 movie. They used that again. And it was just so unoriginal. They already had done that. And the music had some kind of meaning in defeating this enemy swarm fleet. And yeah, it was... And here's my big rub, too. In Into Darkness, we're introduced to Carol Marcus, who is potentially the love of Jim Kirk's life, who is also the parents of David Marcus, which we see in the original Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. This is Kirk's son. So we're introduced to Carol. Carol and Jim meet, fall in love, and there's a really problematic scene with Kirk checking out Carol Marcus when she says, "Don't look at me," while I'm changing into my spacesuit, and he looks anyway. He's a captain, and she's a junior officer. That's just harassment on any level. I mean, but, this is supposed to be Jim's love interest. So, coming into 2016's Star Trek Beyond, there's no mention of Carol Marcus. And Jim Kirk does not have any love interest. He doesn't hook up with anyone. What happened was Me Too. And every story out there had to suffer for the years leading up to 2016. That it was an age of, dare I say, comeuppance, where there couldn't be any more sex appeal, any more fan service. But my greatest problem story-wise was, where was Carol? Why would no mention of Carol? I mean, for Kirk to have some kind of really fulfilling character arc, I wanted to see Carol on the Enterprise with Kirk as a married couple with baby David, changing his life. If Kirk had this new universe, this legitimately 25% different universe, I wanted to see more out of his character. I wanted to see him embrace this new direction. I wanted to see him be a family man. I wanted to see him with Carol and with baby David as part of the Enterprise crew. And that, for me, was the biggest disappointment in a litany of disappointments in the 2016 Star Trek Beyond. There has not been a Star Trek 4, and hopefully there won't be. What we got instead, though, was Alex Kurtzman, who was a protege and part of J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot team. Well, Alex Kurtzman's Secret Hideout got awarded the coveted CBS Star Trek franchise, and it's been downhill ever since. Star Trek Discovery I've got no qualms with Michael Berman becoming captain of the Discovery. It's just everything else about that horrific show is horrible. It's CW level of writing, trying to appeal to a mythical new audience. And they're incapable of criticism or even. I got blocked on Twitter by CBS Star Trek at CBS All Access, and subsequently in their rebrand as well at Paramount Plus. There's a Picard show starring Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart, and it's gruesome. It's downright gruesome. I called it torture porn, and I also said that Red Letter Media was right about Picard, and that's what got me blocked. And I stand by that. There was just some gruesome imagery, and Star Trek used to be a show you could have in front of children. Heck, I was raised on Star Trek. I knew Star Trek, the original series, and Star Trek, the animated series, before I even knew what Star Wars even was. I grew up a foot away from the television, watching Star Trek. And I myself, I call myself a Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock was one of the most influential fictional characters on this person. You know, seriously, I say things like fascinating, and it appears to be. I am very scientific when it comes to things, and Spock is most definitely one of the biggest influences on me. So I'm very happy that there are no more new Star Trek movies, and because it can only be rubbed into the ground even more. The Secret Hideout, I call it Secret Outhouse. The Secret Hideout years are just are amazingly bad. It's just so poorly done, and their fans are even worse. They're so protective about their new direction and their agenda and their the didactic learning moments, and just pushing, activism. I mean, and remember, activism is the opposite of entertainment. Activism puts real world problems into these imaginary worlds. We go to these imaginary worlds to seek refuge from these real world problems. But we're given no choice because, well, activism, we need you to be aware of all things at all times. You don't get a break. You're not allowed your escapism. And this is literally the repugnant attitude from the creators. Kurtzman has even gone on record last year at the online Star Trek convention during, the lockdown 2020, saying that it's less. We're using Star Trek less to tell Star Trek stories, and we're using it as a platform, and that's to push diversity, inclusion, and equity. And there's nothing wrong with giving the world a fair shake and giving all people a fair shake. But you know what? We kind of had I'm up to here with activism encroaching on all our entertainment. We're not given a choice. That's called the news. I don't go to seek entertainment in the news. I go to Star Trek to get wonderful Star Trek stories. And it's just been, there's no end to this. So and how also can I be a fan of the Secret Hideout years? I've been blocked on Twitter. I'm not included. My voice doesn't matter. Now I have spending money. I mean, look, I've purchased the entire old Star Trek series on physical media. I've got 13 Eagle Moss of Star Trek, pre 2009. Ships. I love starships. I love Starfleet vessels. The saucer, the nacelles. That's my thing, baby. And but I've been judged of having wrong think. Yeah, this is for real. I'm not welcome in new Star Trek. We're the old fans. And the new fans have such a problem with us having a problem with the direction of the new shows. It's obnoxious. It's repugnant. It's the entire culture of we need to double down. I mean, Will Wheaton himself has said, hey, go find something else to do. That individual is under contract. He has signed NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and non-disparaging clauses. He's a paid employee. He can't disparage. He can't deviate from the textbook that they're given. And I love Will Wheaton. He's made such an impact on my life by advising to get help with your stress and anxiety and your panic. I still love you, Will. Seriously, I really do. And I understand that you don't have free will and you don't have a choice in this matter. You got to do what they say. And you know what? I forgive you, buddy. I have taken your advice and found something else to do. And that is embrace the old show. And, well, that's all I have to say for Star Trek today. I just wanted to talk for a minute about the movies. In 2009, I had so much hope. And I was really into it. I was behind it. But by Into Darkness, there was just something really finky going on. I mean, and it started with Cumberbatch's casting. There was something off on it. But by the time we hit Star Trek Beyond, it was ruined. And a lot of it had to do with the Me Too movement and taking away the sexiness. The previous two movies of 2009 and Into Darkness, they were sexy. They were allowed to be. It had sex appeal. And then by Star Trek Beyond, Star Trek was gelded. It was neutered. Why? Because that's what we're pushing for agenda and storytelling. And now with the Secret Hideout years, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's unwatchable. And, well, to me, maybe you think different. Maybe you're a fan. And I wish I could like it as much as you new fans. I just can't. I'm from the South Boston projects. I can't buy bullshit. I mean, I see right through it. So what do you think? You know what? We can continue the conversation. Leave a comment in the comments section. And if you like this kind of material, well, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, if you're a new Trek fan, you know what I mean? You think I'm suffering from mind crime, then please give me a thumbs down. I got it coming, don't I, huh? And give me a subscribe if you can. I just hit over 100 subscribers, and I'm looking forward to hitting 1,000 someday. And I would love to be part of your pop culture goodness. I make positive videos about pop culture. I go on the occasional rant as well. That's just being balanced. I'm an ordained minister and an amateur theologian. I make spiritual videos. I do a Sunday sermon. I also, I'm a professional chef, and I've got cooking hacks for you. I want to elevate your home cooking game with delicious, nutritious, and beautiful food so you can impress your loved ones. And so give me a follow. Give me a subscribe. All right, well, you know what? Live long and prosper. And infinite diversity is infinite combinations. And as said in episode 23 of the second season of the original series, The Omega Glory, E plebnista. We the people. This counts for the Yangs and the Khans. That doesn't apply to New Trek, because if you suffer from wrongthink, you're not welcome. That applies to me, because I'm not welcome in New Trek. Well, unless I tow their line with a tractor beam, right? Well, you have a wonderful day. God bless you. Namaste. And live long and prosper.